around police training, and if it's adequate for the situations they find themselves in, possibly to be armed with live ammunition. Well-known security expert Rory Steyn joins us. Welcome, Rory.
Good afternoon, Jim.
On the face of it, it would seem that police are becoming more trigger-happy.
I'd hesitate to make that statement. It's possible. The issue here is training and equipment. So both in the TUT incident with the student Monareng who lost his life after being hit with live ammunition, as well as in the now infamous Marikana incident, there are quite interesting similarities. In both instances, the police seem to have been attacked, stones in the TUT incident, and we know the well-documented attack in Marikana. So police have a right, just like any other citizen, to defend themselves. They're also there to keep public order. But what was the response? Was it commensurate with the threat that they faced? In the Soshanguve incident, I asked myself the question, and I don't have all the facts, and far be it from me to sit in a TV studio and second guess, a police operation where, lives are at stake, as we're seeing. But I'm curious to know why Soshanguve police, maybe from the local Soshanguve police station, reacted to that incident and not public order police, who are trained and carry equipment for dealing with public unrest, for disorder, student or other protests. So there's a whole lot of questions that really need to be asked.
And I keep hearing you use the word training, but
Yes.
it's a tired old argument.
Absolutely.
We've heard this time and time again. Things will improve if police training is better. Why isn't it?
I think it's the will, political and leadership will, that comes from the top. That is the way you deal with these issues, these shortcomings. You get new, fresh recruits in, you train them properly, and there must be proper leadership. People that have experience in commanding, I don't want to say troops, but police officers in the face of unrest, in the face of potential violence. There has to be solid leadership. And the police officers that are standing there facing this lot, with whatever weapon they're holding in their hands, need to have confidence in that leadership, right there on the ground, but also the top cover that goes above that.
Yeah, but surely it goes beyond leadership. You're confronted with a situation, and I'm not making any excuse.
Sure.
I wasn't at Soshanguve either. But you're confronted with a situation in an inherently violent society where you fear for your own life. I accept that you're not sufficiently trained, and therefore your default position is the trigger.
It's to open fire. Yeah.
And we're not going to get away from that. It happens time and time again. It's not surely just about leadership and political will. There's something else that is rotten here.
Well, exactly. But that all is a collective, Jeremy. It's a collective. It's a malaise that the police have been unable to deal with for a number of years now. So it starts with leadership. It progresses through to training, but there also needs to be, and I'm searching for the right word here, there needs to be a buy-in from every police officer, that they have confidence in the top brass, that they have confidence in the training.
Confidence in what? When you said confidence in the top brass, what does that mean?
So that means that if they get it wrong, that they're not going to be victimized because they got it wrong, that there will be some form of redress, some form of support. And very often a cop feels that he or she is backed into a corner, and therefore that last resort is to pull the trigger. Now, even on that score, Jeremy, you have to say, which weapon's trigger are you pulling? I understand that those weapons in the TUT incident were R4 rifles. Now, that's an assault rifle. I hesitate, or I question, why would you take an R4 assault rifle to deal with a student protest? There are other weapons that are less lethal that can be used.
So answer the question. Why do you think they would be armed? Like,
I've no idea.
What's wrong with tasers? What's wrong with water cannons?
With rubber bullets, with tear gas, with all of that.
Not that there's anything right with it, but I think
exactly.
you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
But I'm asking myself the question again, coming back to what I said earlier. Why is it that it was it seems to be that it was the local Soshanguve police station that were responding to that. Now, if you're out there doing crime prevention, then I can understand why you would carry an R4 assault rifle. Because when you're dealing with violent crime, when you're dealing with cash in transit and other things, understandable. But this was a call out. I'm assuming they were called out to a student protest that had the potential to turn violent. Why were they sent? And why were they armed with those weapons? And all of this is conjecture because I don't have the facts as I sit here.
It comes down to deployment capability and availability.
Correct, but you should be deploying those resources that are trained to deal with that. That's my point. So that is a fundamental consequence of leadership. So why weren't the right resources there where they should have been? Why weren't the right resources armed with the right equipment to deal with that particular threat on that day? And all of that is what I'm saying comes down to leadership and training.
Rory Stain, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.